Hello and welcome everybody to the Viking 100 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Unfortunately, it looks like something's going wrong with the league video there. Not sure what in fact is going on with that. Just going to have a little look-see at it myself, see if I can figure out what's going wrong. Apart from that, I hope you guys are having a fantastic morning, afternoon, or evening out there. See if we can't get this league video going because it is an essential piece of the broadcast. Let's see if we can't get it going. Hey, there we go. It works. So I'm just going to quickly re-mute myself again here, and we're going to get this broadcast going again. Alright, we're back again. Hopefully this works this time. So guys, welcome to the Viking 100, here for the Output Racing League, live from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. As we can see Derek Myers spinning around on his top. People coming into the pits, getting ready for a pit party here. There's a little bit of graphical glitching going on. My pit crew is on the edge of the pit box, not where they're supposed to be. But they're even looking at the wrong side of the car, and there's a tire just floating in midair. Glorious! Guys, hello and welcome. I hope you're having a great day out there. Could be a fantastic night of racing here. See Michael Sturgill still on track, logging some laps. Field's been led out of the pits by Jaron Sanchez. Currently the 10th ranked driver in the server as far as practice is concerned. Like he's dropping to the back. We're going to be led away by the 8 of Jonathan Hernandez, who is meant to be the 88, but his number didn't get changed back after the shenanigans we did last week. Christian Budd starting on the outside. We've got Jonathan Bell on the inside, blinking out slightly, with Derek Myers on the outside of the second row there. As we get the green flag, the pit party is underway. And already we got one around. That was Travis Massier in the background. And spinning back on track. Don't think he got collected by anyone, which is good. Oh, and Hernandez has gone around. We missed it. The 50 of Christian Budd's in that. The 4 of Jaron Sanchez. I saw Jonathan Bell as well. And now Derek Myers has gone around. There goes the 3 of Brian Harris around as well. There's a lot of people spinning out. Frank Isaacson going for a little bit of a spin as well. Derek Myers backing it up along the apron. And this has left Daryl McKee fighting it out with the 7 of Stephen Abigail and the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Mark Pentecoff showing some pace up there with this group as well. Behind him is the 98 of Jerry Glenn, a name that we haven't seen for a while now. Glad to see Jerry's back. These guys are fighting it out pretty hard here. Thomas caught up to Daryl. Going to try and make a move on him, I would imagine. Thomas looked to the inside but didn't take it. Daryl slipped up wide there on the exit of 4. In fact, now the 7 of Stephen Abigail. Abigail. It is Abigail. I'm an idiot. But to save further embarrassment, we'll just say the 7 of Stephen. Has now taken charge and is thundering his way in front of the 84. That's going to put McKee back behind him and in front of Thomas, but on the inside of Thomas, here comes Jerry Glenn. Chris Champeau is just sitting in the back here, licking his lips, waiting for one of these guys to make a mistake so he can capitalize. Oh, and Thomas was put around by Jerry Glenn, unfortunately. Oh, Jaron Sanchez center punching his way through Thomas. And Chris Champeau was caught up in that as well. And we've got some shenanigans on the back straight between the 7 of Stephen. Oh, no. Thundering into that went Brian Harris. Nowhere to go. As the 6 of Evan Rice makes his way to the infield. We see the 28 of Zach Floyd spinning out on the back straight. He must have just come out of the pits on the cold tyres and gone around. That's something that I've done myself. Here comes the 90 of Michael Sturgill. There's a 20 car, Derek Myers, looking nice with that blue and yellow paint scheme. A little bit of a new look for him here at Charlotte. In real life, this is the home base for a lot of teams as Derek sends it 3 wide on the inside of Travis and the outside of Sturgill. Still hanging on the outside of Sturgill through 1 and 2. Travis looking to make it 3 wide, but Myers there with the run gets in front of both of them. You guys think that these guys don't take practice seriously? Just have a look at that right there. Oh, and around goes Derek into the pits. Travis follows him, trying to take him out. Missed completely. That was a big whiff there by Travis. There's the 4 of Jaron Sanchez now, working his way along behind the 6 of Evan Rice. These guys are 11th and 12th respectively in the standings. Jaron with a 29.027, Evan with a 29.036. And it looks like some more shenanigans are ensuing as Evan tries to take the Roval chicane there. Doesn't quite work out for him, no. There's the 81 of Corey Williamson running his black paint scheme. We need to get a paint scheme made for Corey. Oh! As the 7 of Steven coming out of the pits just crowds him into the wall and the 7 went flying. In the background now I thought I saw the 50 car also having some trouble coming off pit road. Because now we're looking at the 3 of Brian Harris who's just sitting behind the 24 of Frank Isaacson. Frank with another new look scheme. Going for the white top this time. Been running chrome for the past few weeks. But for this week at Charlotte, going for the white top. As Matt Horton in the 19 works his way on the inside of Brian Harris. Beats him back to the line and takes the position clean and clear. There's Mark Pentaguff. He's just come out of the pits. He's on fresh tyres. Spooked the 3 of Brian Harris a little bit there. He's going to be on a charge with those freshies. Trying to chase down Matt Horton in the 19 car. There goes Matt on the inside of Frank now. Frank staying high, just letting him have the position. He's going to slot back down behind him now. See if maybe he can work the draft a little bit, get a little bit of an advantage. As we have a change in the top of the timesheets as well. Christian Budd takes over the lead now with a 28.918. That is blistering quick around here. P2 belongs to Brian Pizzicami, 0.027 off the pace. Derek Myers in third, with Clayton Ward in fourth and Thomas Harmon sitting in P5. To put it in perspective, the top 10 are covered by less than a tenth of a second. Zach Floyd in 10th with a 29.012, with Christian Budd on the pole, as I said, at the moment with a 28.918. That's 0.094 of a second difference. Very tight margins here at Charlotte. As we see the 5 of Mark Pentecoff going around and Stephen Abagai. I'm going to call him Abagai. That seems about right. Stephen Abagai in the 7. Center punches him. Just remember, commentators calling is law as far as names, unless otherwise corrected. So far we have 28 drivers in the session, plus myself being the 29th. We have a strength of field of 2703 so far. So these are mostly top level drivers that we have in this field. We do have a couple of low I rating drivers, being Kyle left course with a 1093 safe I rating, and Corey Williamson with a 1369, but that's okay. Because these guys are showing up every week and they are improving. Corey Williamson especially has been improving. We have 0.2 of a second that separates the top 20. So right now, your top 10 for practice is Budd, Pizzicami, Myers, Sanchez, Ward, Harmon, Bell, Hernandez, Horton, and Abagai. I'm going to be terrible for this, guys. I promise. I will be absolutely fucking terrible. And that's my one for the broadcast. Oh, as we see a little bit of road rage there between Bennett and Williamson. Not sure what went on there, but there was definitely a right rear and Williamson went around. Now, the 84, the 98, and the 7. It's McKee, Glenn, and Abagai. Abagai currently sitting in 10th. Jerry Glenn in 14th, and McKee in 16th. They're all on fairly fresh tyres. In fact, Jerry Glenn has the oldest tyres out of these three, but only by the mere sum of 2 laps. Abagai now working the inside of Jerry Glenn, trying to take the track position away. Side by side coming off at 2. Not quite clear yet though. That outside line, if you can hit it right, you can get quite a bit of momentum off the top of the corner. But this time, Abagai has him cleared. As we only have about 7 minutes left here in practice. These guys, if they haven't been working on long run pace yet, will be starting to think about maybe doing some short run pace for qualifying. Might even possibly see another pit party here soon. It depends on league owner's discretion. But now Abagai works to the inside of McKee in turns 3 and 4. He's got a good run so far. He's still wheel to wheel with the 84 of McKee. But coming into turn 1, I reckon he's going to take the full advantage, although McKee's still holding strong. But he's been cleared and now slots down in behind him. Maybe trying to do a little bit of a run back at him in turn 3, and he is. Pulls to the inside. Pulls up to the side of the 7 car. Abagai working that outside line, trying to get the extra momentum. Oh, there was a slight touch there. They continue on though. That was a dead heat across the line. Abagai pinching down McKee in turns 1 and 2. They're still side by side. These guys are putting on a good show right now. And we're not even in the race yet. We start looking in front of them at Brian Harris in the 3 car. Oh, and around goes Abagai and McKee. After they were having such a titanic battle, things just went bad for them. We're only 4 minutes left in practice. A lot of the guys are out there on fresh tyres now, with the exception of Brian Harris, who's on 15 lap old tyres. We're looking at Brandon Bennett on screen after Chris Champeau just went around him. Just behind Bennett is the 19 car of Matt Horton. Oh, and Sturgill spinning on the back straight, cleaned up by, I think that was Colton Salick. Colton Salick, another newcomer to the league in the 10 car. Brandon Bennett now working the inside of Chris Champeau. Matt Horton just behind him. Oh, Bennett got a little bit tight there on the entry of 1. Lucky he didn't slide up into Chris Champeau there. Now Matt Horton trying to work around the outside of Bennett. Bennett giving him plenty of room on the back straight. Chris Champeau with that brilliantly presented Champ Speed Shop car. Now we move up to Jonathan Bell and the 38 car of Thomas Harmon. Thomas hasn't really been showing too much of his pace lately, but hopefully in this one we can see the old Thomas return and get some good results. 2 minutes left in practice. We'll cut away with about a minute, maybe half a minute to go. We can do the advert thing, pay our bills. We see the 9, who I think is actually meant to be the 10. That's Colton Salick. As the 50 of Christian Budd gets very sideways. Taking it through the pit exit there, holding his brakes. Well done. Good little save there. As yes, the 9 on track is the 10 in your standings. That's Colton Salick. Behind him, Travis Massier. And behind Travis is the 90 of Michael Sturgill. First time winner this season is Sturgill. All right, guys, we're going to head to a quick commercial break now. When we come back, we'll be setting the grid for the Viking 100 here from the Charlotte Motor Speedway. Make sure you stay tuned. Alrighty guys, we are back. It's time to start showing off the grid that we've got assembled here for the Viking 100 live. From the Charlotte Motor Speedway, on the pole will be the 9 car on track, but the 10 car in your standings, Colton Salick. On his outside will be the 8 car on track, but the 88 car on track, but the 8 car in the standings, Jonathan Hernandez. Starting out of P3 is going to be the 7 car of Stephen Abagai. Out of P4 will be the 27 car of Jonathan Bell. Then out of P5 will be the 2 of Chris Champone. On his outside will be the 4 of Jaron Sanchez. Then we're going to have the 94 of Daryl McKee, and on his outside will be the 30 car of Andrew Helgenhoff. That's the name. Then we're going to have the 50 car of Christian Butt out of 9th with the 90 of Michael Sturgill out of P10. And we're going to see the 60 of Kyle Close out of 11th with the 20 car of Derek Myers out of 12th. Evan Rice in the 6 will be out of 13th with Brian Harris in the 3 out of 14th. And we're going to have Jerry Glenn in the 98 out of 15th. The 44 of Clayton Ward out of P16. The 24 of Frank Isaacson will be out of 17th. With the 28 of Zach Floyd out of 18th. 19th will be the 21 car of Brian Chambliss, with the 5 of Mark Pentecoff being out of 20th. The 102 of Don Barks will be out of 21st. The 38 of Thomas Harmon out of 22nd. Ashton Schleiss in the 68 will be out of 23rd, with Matt Horton in the 19 car out of 24th. 25th will be the 12 of Matt Burgess, with the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi in 26. We're going to have the 13 of Travis Massier out of 27th. The 1 of Brandon Bennett out of 28th. 29th will be the 81 car of Corey Williamson. Starting last but not least, the 73 car of Andrew Perkins will be out of P30. 100 laps here of the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Viking 100. It should be an absolute cracking race as we get the right camera angle with the most amount of engine noise. Remember, the first start is on green. All the restarts after that will be on the leader, and the leader has lane choice. Salick and Hernandez on the front row. This is going to be a race to remember. And we're off and racing for the Output Racing League here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Viking 100. Salick going off to an early lead. Hernandez trying to slot down there into P2. Unfortunately, Abagai was there and he was unable to get down. Going to leave Hernandez a little bit stranded here on the outside with Jonathan Tiz. I think I saw the 4 car of Jaron Sanchez experimenting with alternate dimensions there just for a quick second. But he's holding on to a solid 4th right now. This is going to be Hernandez's chance to try and get down if he wants to get down, but he's still holding on strong on the outside. Now he has been cleared, and now he slots himself down into 3rd. And Salick now running a little bit too deep into turn 1, going a little bit wide. Abagai is trying to take the lead away. He's going to have Hernandez on his tail, giving him the big push through the corner. And it's worked out for him. Abagai now takes the lead. Salick now has a big gap between Abagai and Hernandez where he can slot into line. And he does exactly that and sits right on Abagai's tail. Now he's going for the move back into turn 1. Gets up on the inside, gets the move made. Or at least gets it started. Doesn't look like he's going to come out with the lead coming out of the turn though. Abagai using that outside line as we saw in practice to take the advantage away from Salick. You still got the 4 of Sanchez and the 88 of Hernandez sitting there in 3rd and 4th, battling it out side by side. Hernandez has been working the inside line, and Sanchez has been working the outside. Sanchez holding on very strong there, trying to take 3rd away from Hernandez. He's just been ever so slightly chipping away at that, as we're still 2 by 2 for most of the pack. And now, Sanchez with the big dive. Oh no, the 7 car made a little bit of a mistake there. He is fallen down the pack big time after hitting the wall. No caution, but that is going to be Avagai all the way back in about 10th position right now. We move back up to the front of the pack. It is going to be Salick, Sanchez, Hernandez, and Myers as your top 4. And that strung out the field a little bit there. Now we can take a little bit of a breath after all the action has subsided. But not for too long, because here comes the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez on the inside of the 4 of Jaron Sanchez, league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez. Sanchez still holding on strong on that outside line, getting the draft on the back straight. He's going to hold on to that 2nd position for the moment. But we know Hernandez is hungry. He wants to get a win. He hasn't had one for a while. Go through the field a little bit here. So we got Salick, Sanchez, and Hernandez, with Myers sitting there in 4th. 5th place is going to be the 30 car of Helgenhoff. And now Sanchez trying to make a move for the lead on the inside of Salick. We did not see this one coming. Hernandez trying to encourage Salick to go a little bit faster. It's not going to work out though. Myers trying to push the pusher a little bit there. And Jaron Sanchez is officially in the lead of the race. Going for the very defensive line coming out of 2. Still holding off Salick at the moment. Salick seems like he might be struggling a little bit for tyre grip. Possibly burnt his right front up too much in the early stages of the race. And this is going to allow Sanchez to get a little bit of an air gap over him now. I hope Sanchez's wife is watching. She'd be absolutely loving the action of her husband being up in the lead of the race. Might be time to go wake up the daughter and say, hey, look, Daddy's winning. Let's see how long it lasts. And we just saw Andrew Helgenhoff sitting there in 5th, trying to take 4th away from Derek Myers. And it looks like he might get away with it here. He was in front of Derek going across the line. Derek's still holding on fairly strong there on the outside line. But it looks like Andrew just might be a little bit too tough for him, and he is. Takes the line with authority away from Derek Myers there. As we are now working lap 11 of 100. That's 10 down in the books, 90 to go on this 1.5 mile long track. Let's ride on board with the 88 car of Jonathan Hernandez. We'll go into his gyro cam. Have a look at this battle between Salick and Sanchez just in front of him. Of course, Salick running for High Performance Motorsports. Sanchez running for the Output Racing League. At the moment, it's a fairly tame battle. Salick unable to try and take an advantage. In fact, running a little bit wide there in turn 4. Possibly pushing a little bit harder right now, trying to see if he can get around Sanchez. But all that's going to do is burn up his right front a little bit more. Hernandez running the blue line on the inside of the track. The best place to try and save your tyres, at least in the trucks. Sanchez weaving around the track a little bit, just saying, look, if you're going to go down there, I'm going to make you go right down there. Sanchez running a little bit wider that time through turn 4. Daly getting a little bit of air. Checking out the outside, you heard Hernandez there just give it a little bit of a blip on the throttle. Go back to the view outside the cars now. And it looks like these guys have pulled away from Derek Myers in the 20 car, who's going to be under attack from Jonathan Bell, the 27. Just behind Jonathan is the battle of Michael Sturgill and Daryl McKee as well. And we have a caution on the track. I think that one involved the 60 and the 24. Kyle Kraus and Frank Isaacson. Go back and see what's happened to these two. Coming out of turn 4 here. Kraus on the outside. Frank on the inside. Frank. Oh, looks like Frank's drifting up the track ever so slightly. Just getting tight. A little bit of contact there, right front to left rear. And that has sent Kraus around. Oh, Don Parks got a big piece of that. Brandon Bennett got a piece of that as well. So around goes Kraus, Frank, and Don Parks as well. That's unfortunate for all three of those drivers. Thankfully, the damage to Kraus and Frank shouldn't be too bad. But Don Parks might have a little bit of repairing to do there with his front and rear damage. Managed to keep it out of the pits. Good job there. Darren Sanchez still in the lead of this race as we come down into the pit lane. Like Brian Harris and Brian Chambliss have both stayed out. 17 lap old tyres. And Salick wins the battle off pit road between himself and Sanchez. Not sure if that was by design or not by Sanchez. Now they're going to catch up to the pack with the realization that two people did in fact stay out in that one. Brian Harris does get leader lap points for leading across the start-finish line under the caution here. So let's see if maybe we can grab someone in for a quick little interview. Go and speak to Frank Isaacson, see if he's willing to have a chat with us. Hey, Frank, Corey up in the booth. Do you have a copy?
I do.
A little bit of a sketchy connection, but we'll deal with it. Unfortunately, looked like you got a little bit tight in the corner and just went up into Kyle Kraus there. What was it like from your perspective?
Yeah, that's what it seems to be. Sorry if I ruined somebody's night.
Well, Frank, it's an unfortunate part of racing, but, you know, racing around here at Charlotte, you know, it's what happens. The front tire does burn off quite a bit. But while we got you up here, man, anyone you want to thank while we got you?
Just everybody that puts this league on. It's a blast being here.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much, man. Look forward to seeing you carve your way through the field if you can.
plow would be the operative word there.
Well, I hope not. I hope you just fly through the field. All right, guys.
Thank you.
That was a 24 Frank Isaacson running the autism awareness car. Absolutely great bloke all round. And yes, I'm holding him in the voice chat just a little bit longer so you can hear that. As now we are getting ready for the restart. Looks like we're going to have Sanchez on pole with Hernandez out of P2. Telgenhoff out of 3. Jonathan Bell out of 4. Myers 5th. Sturgill P6. Evan Rice 7. McKee 8. Floyd 9. And Jerry Glenn out of P10. I'm not sure what happened to the 9 car there of Salick. I think he might have gotten a penalty. But that doesn't matter for now. We are going to be going back green this time by restarts are on the leader. And the leader has lane choice. James Sanchez choosing the inside lane. The pace car is in. And we're off already. Sanchez was an early jump. Takes a huge advantage across the line. The battle is back for the second position. And there goes the 30 car of Telgenhoff up into second. He's going to take Derek Myers with him. Evan Rice looking to the inside of Hernandez as well. Jonathan Bell there or thereabouts, looking to take advantage of the slower start as well from Hernandez. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to make the advantage work so far. The 6 is still there on the inside. It looks like Hernandez now up to speed. Slots in behind Evan Rice. It says, not for you, Jonathan. The battle of the two Jonathans here with the 88 and the 6. Oh, sorry, the 88 and the 27. We have another caution on the track now. And having a quick little look, I think this one involves the 7 of Abagai. Go back and have a look at what happened here. We're coming into turn 1. He's just behind Corey Williamson. Chris Champone's inside. Oh, that was a big old nasty netcode moment. Abigail sent into the outside wall there. Managing to try and keep it off. I think that was the 60 car of Kraus. Unfortunately, Brandon Bennett caught up in that. That's 2 crashes in a row for Bennett. Oh, Travis Mastier in the 13 also getting a piece of it. Don Parks makes it through. And Brian Pisacami right at the very back stopping. So he didn't get a piece of it as well. That is unfortunate for Brandon Bennett. 2 crashes in a row. And I have clicked the wrong button. Let's go have a look at the race off pit road. And there wasn't one because the top, what's that? Top 14 did not pit. So guys, what we're going to do then is we're going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we should be just about getting ready to go back to green. Alrighty guys, we are back. Nice little automated process we've got for the adverts now. It's absolutely amazing. So welcome back to the Viking 100 here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Output Racing League. We have Sanchez on the pole with Telgenhoff out of P2, Myers out of 3, Evan Rice out of 4, Hernandez out of 5, Sturgill out of P6, Zach Floyd out of 7th, Daryl McKee out of 8th, Slice out of 9th, and Matt Burgess out of P10. And the rest of the field is Pentecough, Isaacson, Williamson, Harris, Bell, Budd, Perkins, Glenn, Harmon, Ward, Champeau, Horton, Chambliss, Kraus, Salick, and Pizzakemi as your top 26 on the lead lap. Don Parks in the pits at the moment getting some repairs done. I think, yeah, he's still on the lead lap as well. So we've got 27 cars on the lead lap. Got Abigay 2 laps down, Brandon Bennett 2 laps down, and Travis Massier 3 laps down. And we were just hearing before from one of our in-car reporters while we're in the advert that apparently the servers might be a little bit buggy. We start getting that as we start getting towards week 13. iRacing starting to prepare the servers for the new build that's coming out. And they're going to be doing a lot of updates, including track wear updates for both paved and dirt oval. Got some new cars, some new tracks, some new damage models. Going to be an absolutely awesome affair for the new build. Sanchez choosing the inside line again as we get ready for the restart. The pace car is in. We're off and racing on lap 26 of 100. So we're 25 laps in the books. Quarter of the way through this race. Sanchez out to a handy lead already. Derek Myers taking over the second position from Telgenhoff. Evan Rice sitting there in fourth at the moment. He might be under battle from the 88 of Hernandez shortly. Unfortunately, not yet though. Going to keep a little bit of an eye on these guys because this is where it's likely to get a little bit battly. As you can see there in the background, just behind them, got Zach Floyd and Ashton Schleiss in 7th and 8th. They've just gone single file. Got a 9-car pack here at the front. And here comes Schleiss now trying to make a move on the inside. Not going to work, in fact. Zach Floyd now making the move on the inside of Sturgill. And Sanchez unable to get away from Derek Myers. As Derek now right on his tail. So hard to choose where to look. I think we're going to go look at the 28 of Zach Floyd since that's a battle in progress. Ashton Schleiss coming up on the inside of Sturgill now too. And we've got a battle for the lead, which takes precedent as the 20 of Derek Myers trying to work his way around the outside of Jaron Sanchez, if you don't mind. And it looks like he's got the move made coming off of turn 4. Jaron Sanchez is still there. There is still some overlap. Derek Myers did lead the lap though. Here comes Sanchez back on the inside. We're 2 by 2 for the first 3 lines of this race. Slice now working his way into P5 as Hernandez starts to drop back. Derek Myers dropping off a little bit there on the outside of turns 3 and 4 as well. Evan Rice making the inside work in the draft of Sanchez. Going to give that little bit of an aero push to Sanchez, just to try and give him the advantage to get clear of Derek Myers, and it's going to work. Sanchez now going up to block the outside line immediately. Sanchez looking a little bit wiggly there, running the middle line in between the 2 lanes that the cars behind are running. the battle is still on for P2. Evan Rice on the inside. The outside with Derek Myers. Evan Rice getting a little bit tight, giving Myers a tap. Myers with a half spin collected it. Started going again, no caution, but he is losing a lot of positions. 4 wide going into turn 3. I think that was the 38 of Thomas Harmon on the inside, on the apron. Oh, that was absolutely crazy as we go back up to the front of the pack now. Going to be Sanchez by Rice, and then a big gap back to the 3rd place, Ashton Schleiss. Behind him will be the 28 of Zach Floyd, who is under attack from Daryl McKee. We've still got a battle between Hernandez and Sturgill just behind these guys as well. And it looks like Zach Floyd making the outside line work, holding off McKee at the moment. Sturgill and Hernandez still battling it out here for the... what position is that? 6th and 7th position. In fact, it's not even a battle anymore. Hernandez taking the position away. And here comes McKee now, working the inside of Zach Floyd. Can he get the position going into turn 1? Like he's trying his best. Zach Floyd with a great run coming off of turn 2 though. But McKee getting the help from Hernandez. Unfortunately unable to make the move work. Zach Floyd, huge run through turns 3 and 4. McKee looks back down to the inside now, heading into turn 1. Does he have what it takes this time? He runs slightly higher line, trying to force Zach to take an even higher line still. Make him lose that little bit of an advantage he had last lap. And it looks like this time McKee is going to take the position away. He's going to have the nose in front at the line. Oh, that was a sketchy little block that he just threw. But he is cleared of Zach Floyd now. And that is going to be McKee up into 4th. Floyd down to 5th. Possibly 6th with Jonathan Hernandez now working on his inside. Hernandez thinking discretion is a better part of valor at the moment. We're not even halfway through this race. But Hernandez with a great run through turns 3 and 4 that time. Pulls up on the inside. He's wheel to wheel. He's a lot further up in front than what McKee was last time. And Hernandez makes the move work in turn 1. Doesn't even need turn 2. Just does it all in turn 1. Zach Floyd now under attack from Michael Sturgill. Sturgill going for the dive down in turn 3. They're wheel to wheel going through 3 and 4. And we have another safety car on the track. And I'm thinking this one actually involves the 38 of Thomas Harmon. I have to wait and see. Let's go back and have a little bit of a look here. So we've got a big battle group here. See the 12 of Matt Burgess. Got the 30 of Telgenhoff. There's Thomas Harmon and... oh, Thomas Harmon into the back of the 30 car. It looks like Jerry Glenn just managing to get through that without any injury. Telgenhoff trying to get it regained again. Using the brakes sparingly. He's gotten the car straightened up. Oh, Frank Isaacson behind him. Into the wall trying to avoid the car. Well done by Frank. That's not an easy thing to do. Frank made it work. Frank will probably have some big damage after that. And Telgenhoff will not be happy with one Thomas Harmon. be the battle off pit road. Sanchez comes out on top. Everyone pitted that time. Alright guys, we're going to go for another quick little commercial break here. We've got to pay these bills, and I've got to go for a piss. Alrighty, we are back. And it looks like we're on 2 to go. Just about to get the 1 to go signal. Darren Sanchez still holding on to the lead of this race. Gonna have Ashton Schleiss starting next to him. Just make sure we wait until we hit the start finish line this time before we start reading out the order, just in case things change. You know, people pitting late and all that. Fresh tyre advantage around this track is massive. We are on 1 to green. The lights are out on the safety car. Gonna have Sanchez, Schleiss, Rice, McKee, Hernandez, Floyd, Sturgill, Budd, Salick, and Burgess as your top 10. Gonna be Champeau, Chambliss, Horton, Ward, Bell, Kraus, Perkins, Harmon, Williamson, Isaacson, Harris, Telgenhoff, Penticuff, with Jerry Glenn and Pizzakemi bringing up the rear of the pack. Don Parks in there as well. Derek Myers 7 laps down. The only car laps down at the moment. The only car on track laps down. Like Sanchez again going to choose the inside line. Now, Evan Rice is in a great restarting position here, being just behind Sanchez. And he's going to have Hernandez right on his tail as well. So Evan Rice might be in for doing something real good here. Just have to keep an eye out. The pace car goes in. We're underway again. Sanchez with another good jump over Schleiss. McKee actually giving the big push to Schleiss there, keeping Schleiss in P2. McKee trying to take 3rd away from Evan Rice. Let's see if he can manage to do it. Zach Floyd on McKee's tail there. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. Rice just too strong on that inside line. And Zach now playing both lanes as he's got the clearing to do so. Just behind Hernandez is the 50 car of Christian Budd. We haven't seen Christian for a bit. started out a P9 and hasn't really been doing anything to affect the result of the race. As now we've got a battle for the lead. Slice on the inside of Sanchez. Sanchez at the moment still holding on strong. Coming across the line, it was almost nothing in it. And Ashton Schleiss does lead the lap. Now Schleiss gets clear of Sanchez into P1. Sanchez unable to get down as McKee was there. Sanchez with Rice just behind him. Zach Floyd diving underneath Evan Rice. That was a close move, but it was one that needed to be made if Floyd wanted to have any chance at all. Sanchez starting to drop back a little bit. The outside line's been not too kind to him at the moment. Schleiss now working the middle to low lane. He was in the middle in turn 1 and went down low in turn 2. It's good for saving your tyres and keeping the momentum up, but it's not good as far as you leave the gap open on the entry of the corner. Someone can stick their nose right up in there and ruin your day. Sanchez still trying to hold on as hard as he can around the outside of Evan Rice in the 6 car. Rice had to check up a little bit there for McKee in the middle of turns 1 and 2. Sanchez with the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez on his tail. 88 on track, the 8 in the standings. These guys go thundering across the front straight again. We're almost at halfway, not quite yet. We see the 20 car of Derek Myers on the apron, just coming out of the pits. He's now 10 laps down. And now Sanchez trying to make a run at P2 around the outside of Daryl McKee. And it looks like he's going to have the move made as they come across the line. Yet officially Sanchez P2 that time. He's still trying to fight in strong on the inside line though. We have a little bit of a battle forming behind these guys as well. There's Salick in the 9 car, 10 in the standings. And the 50 of Christian Budd. This time McKee is in P2 across the line. But Hernandez still sitting there in 4th on the outside of Evan Rice. Evan doing a great job just holding on to the top 5 position that he's got. And Sanchez clean and clear into the 2nd position now. Hernandez stuck on the outside. Oh, and there's a contact. The 6 of Evan Rice has gone around. Still in the apron. Does he come back on track nicely? Oh, contact with Derek Myers, who was running low to try and stay out of the way, and that has brought out another caution. Let's go back and have a look at that in slow-mo. Evan Rice just trying to get back on track. Derek Myers just trying to get out of the way of the faster drivers. Little bit of contact there, and that has sent Evan Rice just enough around to bring out the caution flag. Coca-Cola number 6 car. We're under caution at the halfway point of the race. Make sure you guys stay tuned. It should be an absolutely epic second half to the race if the first half is anything to go by. Alrighty, we are back. And Ashton Schleiss is still going to hold on to the lead of the race. Don't worry about what it says in the standings there. Jonas Sanchez is still in P2. Just Schleiss is pitted before the start-finish line, so it didn't count him as being in first place. Officially, that is another lap led for Sanchez, though. Which is great for Sanchez, but not so great for Schleiss. As we see the 13 of Travis Massio making his pit stop as a lap down car. But Don Parks is officially a DNF in this race. We have 25 cars on the lead lap. 3 cars in the pits laps down and 2 DNFs being Don Parks and Stephen Abagai. Your order is Schleiss, Sanchez, McKee, Hernandez, Budd, Salick, Sturgill, Champo, Chambliss, and Burgess as your top 10. Got Bell, Ward, Harmon, Horton, Kraus, Harris, Halgenhoff, Perkins, Glenn, Williamson, Isaacson, Rice, Pizzacami, Pentecoff, and Floyd as your top 25. Be interesting to see if Schleiss maybe wants to play around with the lane choice a little bit and take the outside line. We'll have to wait and see. We're on 1 to green. It looks like no Schleiss is very comfortable with that inside line. He's sending Sanchez to the outside. I know Sanchez can be strong on that outside line. But it'll be interesting to see how he'll restart up there. Restarting from 4th isn't so bad. Restarting from 2nd, as far as I'm concerned, is probably one of the more nerve-wracking things. Because unless you have triples, you'll be using that look left button a lot to try and keep up with what the leader's doing. That could be a little bit distracting. Make our way through turns 3 and 4. Pace car makes his way in. And we're underway again. Schleiss with a little bit of a tail wiggle as he got underway there. McKee's going to take a big advantage of that and take away the 2nd position away from Sanchez. Christian Budd trying to take 3rd away as well. We'll have to wait and see if he's able to do it. In fact, he is able to do it. He gets cleared as well. Sanchez, the big loser in that scenario, going from 2nd all the way down to P4. And now Christian Budd trying to work on the inside of McKee, trying to take 2nd position away. See if he is able to do it. Sanchez trying to favour that outside line a little bit now. With McKee in front of him, he doesn't want to let Christian Budd get to the lead and get away, because we know that that's what Christian Budd does. A little bit of contact there between our 2nd and 3rd place cars. But at the moment, it's still Christian Budd in P2 with McKee in 3rd. Sturgill now making his way on the inside of Sanchez. Taking 4th position away, putting Sanchez back into P5. Got a great battle going on here for the 3rd position. There's 3 cars in this battle. It's almost going to be a battle for second if McKee can just get to the outside or the inside of Christian Budd. And the inside it is. And now this is a four-way battle for second. In fact, make it five-way battle with Jonathan Hernandez throwing his hat into the ring. McKee on the inside line is going to take the advantage, but let's see what it is like when they come across the line. And it is going to be McKee in P2 officially. Sanchez now going underneath Christian Budd. Christian, one of the best tyre savers we have in the league, and one of the fastest drivers we have in the league. Unable to keep a hold of second there, slotting back to third. Sanchez trying to make the inside work. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do it with Hernandez on his outside. He does get clear of Hernandez now, though. Hernandez still looking to the outside, though. Hernandez with Sturgill right on his bumper, and now we're going to have a move for the lead. 94 of McKee trying to get underneath of Schleiss. Schleiss using a little bit of the outside lane just to gain the extra momentum to keep him in front. And that's the way it's going to be. Schleiss in first, McKee second. Got Budd in third with Sanchez fourth, but maybe not for long as Hernandez battling on the outside line. Trying to take fourth away from Sanchez. Not going to be able to make it happen. In fact, now Sanchez on the inside of the 50 of Christian Budd. And he's going to take third place away. Christian Budd possibly going to lose another one here with the 88 car of Hernandez. Possibly not as well. But Hernandez is up in there into fourth. Let's see what it is when they cross the line. It is going to be Hernandez in fourth. Still looking at these guys in front because it looks like they want to battle at any moment. But now we're going to go back to the 4 car of Sanchez. There is the 8 car on your standings. The 88 on track of Hernandez sitting in fourth, just behind the 4 car of Jaron Sanchez, league owner and operator. Sanchez with a lot of pace right now. Just about nailing the back of the 94 car of McKee. As we see now, Sturgill maybe looking like he wants to try and make a move on Hernandez. But Hernandez looking to the inside of Sanchez now as we're going into turn 3. He's not there yet. He's just got the inside line now on Sanchez. Sanchez still running the high line, trying to get the momentum going. He's still in third at the moment, but that might not last for long. It depends on which line Sturgill decides that he wants to go with, I guess. At the moment, Sturgill favouring the inside line with Hernandez, trying to push him around the 4 of Sanchez. At the moment, it's not going to happen. Sanchez running the seam there in the middle line, or what we like to call the outside line here at Charlotte. Sanchez still holding on strong on that outside line, not letting Hernandez get too much of an advantage. That's a great camera angle in turn 2. I love it. And now Hernandez dropping back and behind Sturgill, which is going to leave Sanchez clean and clear in P3 now, and with a little bit of a gap. So this is going to allow Sanchez to maybe catch back up to McKee and make this a 3-way battle for the lead. As we go back to look at the 88 car of Hernandez, who's just slotted himself into P5. He's going to have Christian Budd right there on his tail. In fact, Christian Budd pulling to the inside, looking like he's going to try and make a move into 3. And he is there. He's going to have the 21 of Brian Chambliss on his bumper. We haven't talked much about Chambliss lately, mostly because of his absence, but also because he hasn't been doing too terribly much in this race at the moment. But he's in the top 10, and he's looking pretty strong at the minute. Fastest time for the last lap was a 29.722, set by Michael Sturgill. Dalek has the fastest lap of the race with a 28.915 so far. As we have 34 laps to go as the leaders cross the line. And at the moment it is all Ashton Schleiss in the lead. Gonna have Daryl McKee sitting just right there behind him again still. Let's hope for a long green flag run in this one. And now Sturgill trying to make a move for third on Sanchez. Sturgill's looking very strong in this run at the moment. About 17 laps into it, Sturgill just seems to have switched right on, getting around Sanchez for the third position. Sanchez trying to battle back on that outside line. He's made it work before, but he's not going to make it work now. And here comes Hernandez looking to the inside of Sanchez as well. He's going to keep the nose up there. In fact, he's going to take a big run through the tri-oval. And that is going to be Sanchez back to P5 with Hernandez up into fourth and Sturgill up into third. Now Sanchez, a little bit of a predicament. Sitting there in fifth, but he's going to have Chambliss on his tail. We saw Christian Budd just get shuffled back a little bit just behind them. There's Chris Champeau up there as well in the 2 car in P8. Jonathan Bell in the 27 taking over P9. In fact, my apologies, Jonathan Bell taking P8 away from Christian Budd. Christian Budd back to 9th. And he's going to have Colton Salick on his tail in 10th. And now it looks like we're just about to get a move for the lead. To the inside goes the 90 of Sturgill. As these guys are starting to catch up to... Actually, no. Daryl McKee in the lead and pulling away. Wow. I did not see that happen and I did not see that coming. He's got a 0.5 of a second lead over Schleiss right now. McKee. What a race he is running right now. He is faster than Schleiss at the minute and pulling away, making this gap even bigger. I don't know if he's using some of them super good tyres that we saw in Days of Thunder, but McKee looking pretty unstoppable at the minute with this huge gap that he has amassed over Schleiss. Let's go back to having a quick little look at the 90 of Sturgill here. Trying to make the move on Schleiss earlier when I incorrectly called that it was for the lead. Actually, it looks like Schleiss and Sturgill catching up to McKee a little bit here now. Gap still sitting about the same as it was. But these guys are just ever so slightly chipping time away. Whoever says draft is not important in 1.5 tracks is dead wrong. Sturgill now too far away from Schleiss to try and make a move, but we do have people trying to make moves here in the background. We're going to go have a look at Jonathan Bell on the 27, who's got Colton Salick on his inside. Salick with the big move into turn 1. This is for the 8th position. Salick takes the position away, and here comes Christian Budd as well now, trying to take the inside of Jonathan Bell. Doesn't look like he's quite going to get it done yet. He's going to pull side by side with Bell. We're going to have Jonathan Hernandez, not Jonathan Hernandez. Oh, Thomas Harmon's joining this as well, as we saw Jonathan Bell getting up into the wall. And it looks like Jonathan Bell just blinking out ever so slightly there, but that's going to allow him to stay in front of Thomas Harmon in the 10th position. And Thomas Harmon with Matt Burgess on his tail. Because it looks like we've had some more moves being made. Because here comes the 9 of Colton Salick. Just behind the 2 of Chris Champeau at the moment. It looks like we've got a battle going on for the lead. That's the one I want. No, it's not for the lead. It's just our leader getting around the lap car of Travis Masia. So this could throw a spanner into the works for these drivers behind. With Travis running a little bit slower. We're going to focus on Travis just a little bit through this front pack. See how the leaders deal with his presence. And it looks like all is going pretty good at the moment. As now we're going to go watch the 9 car. 9 on the track, 10 in the standings of Colton Salick. He works his way on the inside of Chris Champeau. Gets the move made very easily there. Almost using Travis Masia in the 13 as a little bit of a pick. Jonathan Bell has dropped all the way back down to 11th now. And here comes Matt Burgess trying to make his move on Jonathan Bell. And he gets that move made just about. Not clear yet though. As we have 21 laps left in this race. The second half of this race has been an absolutely blistering pace. And there is the move made by Matt Burgess. As we're going to go back up to have a look at what Colton Salick's up to. And he is trying to get underneath Jonathan Hernandez. He's stuck behind the 4 of Sanchez. Hernandez now going to be falling right back with Christian Budd on his inside as well. Here comes Salick on the inside of league owner and operator Jaron Sanchez. It looks like we've also got a battle for second forming. We're going to move up and have a quick little look-see at that. Ashton Schleiss was running a little bit of a higher line. Sturgill just about getting underneath him, but here comes the 21 of Chambliss. These guys are just in front of the second battle that's going on. Chambliss now on the inside of Sturgill. And he makes that move made very easily. I think the 90 car of Sturgill let that one happen just so he could get back in line quickly. So you don't want to get stuck up on that outside, especially not with the likes of Colton Salick, Christian Budd and Thomas Harmon making their way through the pack. Darryl McKee still out to a thunderous lead, almost to the tune of 3/4 of a second. See the gap there, pictured perfectly with that turn 2 static camera. As here comes Chambliss now. He's looking to the inside of Schleiss. He's got his nose up there. And here comes Colton Salick as well, trying to look for a way around Sturgill in a 90 car. Nothing doing at the moment. And Chambliss still working the inside of Schleiss. Like Colton trying to work the outside line. Not going to work for him. In fact, he almost got done by Christian Budd there. Schleiss still holding on strong to that second position on the outside of Chambliss. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second because I saw Colton go for a big move. Looked like he was almost going to get onto the grass of the tri-oval to try and get around Sturgill. Sturgill now running a little bit high in turn 4, and that's all the invitation that Colton needed. Salick up on the inside. Now Salick is just about fast enough and skilled enough to throw it 3 wide and not have a big disaster happen at his hands. So let's see what he can do to try and get around Schleiss and Chambliss. He runs the normal racing line, goes up to the wall just before the corner entry. Chambliss still trying to make the move made, and it looks like he's finally got the move done as they come out of turn 4. Here comes Colton Salick onto the apron to the inside of Chambliss. And can Salick get into the second position? Does he have anything for Daryl McKee? At the moment, no. Chambliss still holding on. Here comes Sturgill to the inside of Schleiss again. Chambliss. He's got Salick on his inside. I'm a little bit stunned for words because as a motorsports fan, this is some incredible racing. Salick with the preferred inside line going down the back straight. These guys are catching up to McKee now. The pace has definitely quickened. But Chambliss holding on strong on that outside line in 3 and 4. Still holding on to the second position. Salick, oh, and we got a big crash in the background. The 4 is around, the 38 is around. I'm not sure if anyone else got involved. We'll have to check back in on that later. And Colton Salick has made the move on Chambliss. Now let's see if Salick has anything for our leader, Daryl McKee. What was a great race going there for the 4 of Sanchez has just become a big flaming pile of poop. And Salick charging after McKee. He has just halved that gap in the matter of a lap. As Salick now trying to look for a way on the inside of McKee. Not quite going to get it this time. McKee defending fairly decently here, actually. McKee running just a slightly lower line there on the straight just to say, nah, not this time. As they go around the stricken car of Brandon Bennett, who pulled to the apron to let the leaders go. GG Bennett. As we have 7 laps left in this race, I do believe it is. Or is it 8? It's 8. Colton Salick on the inside now. Daryl McKee with a paralyzing burst of speed takes the lead away. Colton Salick up into the lead. Daryl McKee in P2. Sturgill still holding on to 3rd. And now Salick pulling away from McKee. And we see that Christian Budd's still sitting there in 4th. Christian won't be happy. Oh, we got a caution on the track. And I think this one might have involved the 98 of Jerry Glenn. We see him running very slowly here. Let's just back it up and see if we can see what's transpired. We're coming off turn 2. I probably started that a little bit too early there. Let's see what happens. Coming off turn 2. Oh, the 60 car gets into the wall off turn 2. Jerry, with nowhere to go, gets into the back of him. Into the inside wall. All 4 tires off the ground. You can't stop when your car is in the air. Comes back out across the track. Oh no, Frank. Frank gets away with it. So does Travis Massier. But unfortunately, that is still going to bring out the caution. And Jerry Glenn. Oh, the heartbreak. That will be his day done. Alright guys, we're going to go pay our bills for at least one more time before the end of this race. And when we come back, we'll be just about getting ready to end this race. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty guys, we are back. And as you can see, Colton Salick is not going to be your leader anymore. Waiting for everything to equalize out here. The leader is going to be the 28 car of Zach Floyd. Jonathan Bell's going to be in P2. Jonathan with a 2-tire stop. Zach Floyd with nothing. P3 is going to be the 9 car on track, 10 car in your standings of Colton Salick. Going to have Darryl McKee out of 4, Sturgill out of 5, Hernandez P6, Chandler 7th, Bud 8th, Champo 9th, and Ashton Schleiss back in P10 with Rice, Horton, Burgess, Harris, Pizzacami, Ward, Taglerhoff, Kraus, Perkins, Isaacson, Penticuff, Williamson, Sanchez, and Harmon wrapping up your top 24 on the lead lap. Gary Glenn is out, Don Parks out, Stephen Abagai is out, Bennett, Massia, and Myers laps down. I think Derek Myers was going to be looking for a wave around there. Unfortunately, not going to be able to get it with the 28 and the 27 staying out. Well, actually, the 28 staying out and the 27 getting 2. And Zach Floyd coming down to the pits this time. So that is going to promote the 27 car of Jonathan Bell into the lead of this race. On 2 tires. Can the 2-tire strategy work? We'll have to wait and see. Looks like we're going to be having a natural green-white checker. We will still have our 2 attempts at a green-white checker if we get a caution on this first lap. This one is natural. It does not count as one of our attempts. Let's see if Jonathan Bell can make this 2-tire strategy work. Or will Colton just take to the outside and dominate? Pace car is in. And we're off and racing. Jonathan Bell with a very tentative start there on 2 tyres. Takes the lead. Colton Salick in P2. Just going to slot in behind him and just wait for him to make a mistake. On 2 tyres, it's a very possible thing to happen. Salick looking to the outside, looking to the inside. Goes to the apron if you don't mind. No bottom line rule there. Jonathan Bell still holding on strong on the outside for the moment, but the old inside tyres definitely catching up to him now as Salick takes the white flag last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. And it looks like we're going to have McKee in second and Sturgill in third. Hernandez sitting in fourth at the moment, but McKee not wanting to just settle for second as we're going to crash in the background. That was the 44 of Clayton Ward. That is unfortunate. We can't see what's happened to him at the moment. We might have to check back into it because we're coming up to the checkered flag and it's going to be Colton Salick in front of McKee by Sturgill. Great race by these guys. Hernandez fourth, Chandler fifth, and Jonathan Bell managing to hold on to P6. Great strategy move there. 200 IQ. As we see Evan Rice coming up to give his congratulations. Jonathan Hernandez as well. Salick brings the car to the stop. He wants to do some donuts, and these guys are just in the way. Evan Rice and Hernandez joining in on the burnouts as well. Here we go. Time to burn some rubber. Salick not wanting to damage the car. Having to stop mid-burnout there. Ignore my smoker's cough. That was just funny to me. Alright guys, we're going to go to a quick commercial break. When we come back, we will be getting some driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Alrighty, guys, we are back, and it's time for some driver interviews. We're kicking things off, of course, with our Hard Charger Award. And today's Hard Charger, after starting from, where did you start? All the way
Way
down
back there.
in 19th, finishing in P5, we are, of course, talking to the 21 car of Brian Chambliss. Brian, mate, it has been way too long since we last had a chat.
Yeah, it has been. Just right there on the cusp of getting an interview. I've had a couple fourth, fifth, sixth place finishes, and I just haven't been able to get up there. Missed the hard charger, but today I have no idea what was going on. I was 3/10 off all practice, qualified. I just had no pace for the Q lap, none of it. But luckily, when the green flag dropped, I had some race pace, which I guess is really what's most important. Is at least you're fast in the race if you aren't having good quals.
Well, that's exactly right. Race pace, in my opinion at least, is the most important thing a driver can have because, I mean, qualifying's all good and all, but if you ain't got no race pace, then you ain't got no good. But man, it was an incredible effort by you in what is a very semi-difficult car to drive, I'm going to say. The tires fall off pretty quickly if you're not looking after them.
Yeah, it can really do that. That probably is what helped me a lot starting back in the pack because I was able to save my tires just trying to work with people, learning where people were overdriving. And it was a lot of people driving in way too hard into three. So off of four, they were washing up, and I was braking early or lifting early. By the time we got off of four, I was underneath them on the white line and powering off as they were headed towards the wall. So I made a lot of passes over there. But four was basically my spot where I was getting people. I was really good out of four because a lot of people were overdriving three. Didn't help their. That's
Now,
mostly where I got.
all right, man. Now, let's talk about that last run for a second. It was a very long green flag run. How were you managing to keep your tires in check throughout it?
Well, that last run there, it came out right at the edge of being able to make it all the way. So I was saving just enough where my fuel calculators and what usually telling me that I was right there, right on it. So I basically stuck to that the whole time, and then a couple other guys that evidently were doing a little better than me caught up, but luckily that last caution there. But mostly that last run was just saving the tires and trying to save mostly saving the fuel. And I could tell a lot of guys around me were doing that. They weren't sure how much they had or needed to save more. Where at the start of that run, I was already saving because I already knew. But in the end, the caution came out, so it didn't really matter.
All right, man. Now, looking forward towards next week, we have the wide banks of Kansas. What's the feeling like for you heading into a track that's typically a fairly high line to run?
Oh yeah, Kansas is super highline dominant. I'm pretty good there. I normally set some quick laps in queue. Um, got a couple ones there, so it's a good track for me. But those highline races, a lot of it's dependent on the guy in front of you not getting the wall because you're so close. You got no room to escape because you can't turn down. But it's going to be getting the high line, holding it, and hoping the guys in front of you don't wreck. And if they do, hoping you got the talent to be able to avoid it. But it is difficult there, so I'm looking forward to it. But definitely got to get a better Q effort than I did here tonight. That's for sure.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, I'd like to go ahead and thank Jaron. You as well for this broadcast, and Jaron for this league. A lot of good guys in here. Getting a lot more guys in here too. So the talent level is definitely increasing. It was going to make it harder for me to get some interviews in here, but we're still going to give it a shot. And then I'd like to thank Redenzo. All your radar detector needs you can find at redenzo.com. And then also I thank my wife for putting up with this stuff and letting me have a little fun on Tuesday nights.
All right, man. Well, congratulations again on the Hard Charger Award, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Kansas.
All right, man. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Right, guys, so that was the 21 car today. Brian Chambliss, today's hard charger. Incredible effort after gaining, what's that, 14 positions in race. Stout effort indeed. Coming up next is going to be our third place getter, a man that we have spoken to quite a few times over the past 5, 6 weeks. Of course, we're talking to the 90 car of Michael Sturgill. Uh, Sturgill, man, a great race by you. You were there or thereabouts for the entire race. What was it like for you with the frantic pace of the front pack?
It was pretty wild at times. Just try to hang out at the back of the front pack and avoid everything. Then once we got that longer run, I still was just kind of hanging out, trying to save some fuel because I knew it was going to be close. And I think that allowed me to have better tires than everyone else. And I think we were guaranteed a second if it would have went green. It would have been fun to get up there and race with Colton for the win. But overall, I was happy with the race. I didn't get involved in anything stupid and finished P3, so I'll take it.
Yeah, Sturgill, Dalek was making a great run towards the end of that race. I actually had him picked quite early as the guy that was going to be the guy to beat, especially when McKee got that long gap over the rest of the pack. Were you maybe getting a little bit defeated with the gap that McKee was getting over you, or were you thinking, yeah, he's going to burn up his tires a little bit and I'm going to get him back?
Yeah, I figured he was A, gonna burn up his tires probably, and B, I knew there was no way he was gonna be good on fuel. I know he said he was showing like point 0.2 negative, so he probably would have ran out of fuel, so I wasn't too concerned with how far out he was getting.
All right, man. Now, looking forward to next week. We're going to Kansas. Very highline dominant track. What's the feeling like to you? Got a couple of slide jobs in the repertoire to throw.
Yeah, I think I do. I like Kansas. It's a little different racing, but I feel like I'm pretty comfortable there. So hopefully I will. Hopefully I'll be talking to you. Hopefully I will get a win there. That'd be great. Cause got the win in Martinsville, but it wasn't able to be broadcasted. So hopefully I can pull it off on the stream for you.
Well, we can only hope, and again, I must apologise for the fact that there was no Martinsville broadcast. Unfortunately, couldn't get a good enough replay to do the
Right.
broadcast in time. But it was a great win from what I heard. Well deserved a first win for you as well, and
Thank you.
hopefully, man, we can get a few more in the points tally for you.
Yeah, that'd be great. I think I'm sitting like top 3. I think when I last checked. So we'll see what I can do.
Right, man. Now, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Well, the guy that usually spots for me is actually racing in the league now. But you for broadcasting it, Jaron and everyone for putting it on, and I think that's probably it.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for coming out again, and we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Kansas.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
All right, guys. So that was today's third place getter, last fortnight's winner, Mr. Michael Sturgill. As I said, unfortunately, the race last 2 weeks ago was unable to be broadcast because I wasn't available to do it live, and we didn't get a good enough replay to be able to do a post-race replay. But that's just the way it happens sometimes. Either way, moving on. Coming up next, a man who started to dominate a little bit towards the end of the race, unfortunately just fell a little bit short of the end goal of getting the win. We are, of course, talking to the 94 car of Daryl McKee. Daryl, that was a great race by you. You were up the front for pretty much 99% of the race. What was it like for you? And especially with the long green flag run there at the end and getting that little bit of a gap over the rest of the field.
Yeah, thanks, Corey. Yeah, I felt like started out just kind of riding around, biding some time, hoping to get a long run there. And when we got one, I was just kind of in the right place at the right time. Was riding around with Ashton there. I think we were pulling a little gap. I was trying to get a little gap with him, and I made some contact with him. I might have been a little bit of netcode, but it was definitely didn't mean it to happen. So again, apologize to Ashton for that. I think it knocked him back a little bit, but yeah, I just took the lead there and rode around. Started noticing, fuel was going to be an issue, so I tried to save as much as I could and maintain a gap. But Colton was coming there pretty quick with some fuel. I think he was good to the good by a lap or so, so it was going to be tight. But then the yellow came out.
All right, man. Now let's talk about that final restart. Uh, Things were a little bit weird with Jonathan Bell staying out on the old tires, and you had Colton who just absolutely dominated the entire top 10 by carving his way through the field. What was the thought process like for you, especially knowing that Jonathan Bell was out there on the two tires?
Yeah, I was hoping to get a little bit better, be side by side with Colton there. And if, whoever kind of got around Jonathan first, if we could, was in the little bit better spot. But coming to get the white there, I thought it was in a pretty good spot. I could have possibly gone to the bottom down the back on Colton, but it kind of just, I felt like I would have been pinched down there anyway. So I tried to get a good run off of 4 there, but just wasn't enough to beat Colton. He was quick.
All right, man. Now let's look forward to next week. Going to the High Banks High Line Racetrack of Kansas. What's the feeling like for you? And you reckon you might be throwing a couple of slide jobs there?
Yeah, I don't have much time around Kansas. A few races here and there. Um, so yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. But as for me, yeah, not much experience there, so we'll see how it goes.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to here tonight?
Yeah, yourself as always, Corey, for the broadcast. I appreciate it. To Jaron and Brian and the guys for running this league. It's a great place for running races with these guys, and as always, thanks to Vidovich Racing. Thank you, guys.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much. We look forward to seeing what you can do again next week at Kansas. Hopefully, another top 3.
Thanks, Corey.
All right, guys. So that was Daryl McKee, the 94 car, today's second place getter in what was a fantastic race. Coming up next, we got the man that everyone is asking for in the Twitch chat. He's the number 10 car in the standings, the number 9 car on track. Our pole sitter and today's winner. We're, of course, talking to the one and only Mr. Colton Dalick. Colton, amazing race by you, man. You started on pole. You had a small little incident and fell right back to the back, but you worked your way back up and got the win. What was the race like for you, and what was it like trying to battle back after the early, little mishap that you had?
Yeah, it was a tough one. Started up front, of course, and then I haven't even seen the replay yet of what happened down in turn 3. I think there was some netcode involved. I came down pit road twice there, just making sure I didn't have any damage or whatever, and just making sure I got everything fixed. Avoiding any glitches, stuff like that. Drove back through the field. We got that caution around, I think it was lap 52, and when I looked at the fuel, I was going to be short on gas, and if I pitted coming to 1 to green, I had a little bit of a better, shot at it. So I tried to come into 1 to green, and I knew I was going to have to fight up. And as soon as I got to the lead, I was good on fuel, would have been smooth sailing, and of course, had to fight through a green white checkered also. But fun times, just fun, fighting through the field and getting to make some passes tonight.
Now let's talk about that long green flag run, because you looked like you had so much pace in that car of yours. Were you saving your tires a little bit earlier in the run, or was it just a little bit of dumb luck that you were able to get the pace? And then with that late caution, what was it like starting on the outside, knowing that Jonathan had only taken 2 and was starting on the pole?
So going through the long green flag run, I think I got, obviously when you're stuck in the back, I can't just set super, super quick laps because I'm going to be running over people. Just everyone's kind of checking up and, giving some space there. So I think naturally I was saving a little bit. I think they must have been racing pretty hard up front because I had to, crank some wheel into it to make some of the moves in the back. And I thought I was going to be killed, honestly. When I pulled up to Jaron, I made a comment about it. I'm like, there's no way my right front's going to last much longer. And it just kept going. I think I had I had way better tires there. I don't know. I think it might have been something to do with the line. I kind of was running a little bit of a wider arc, and it was helping me out. But would have been interesting to see me and Daryl race there if it got green. I know he was let me go to save some gas to make sure he was good, but I think if he kept going there, it could have been really interesting. And on the green light checkered, I knew he was on 2. I was just worried he was going to spin the tires. I tried to give him some room. Luckily, he was able to get in behind him and had to make a dive off 2, but made it work. So it's all that matters in the end.
All right, man. Now, looking forward towards next week, we're going to the High Bank Highline racetrack of Kansas. What's the feeling like for you? And are you expecting to maybe have to pull a couple of slide jobs to get the job done?
Personally, I love Kansas. I don't know if it's something about the fact that I race karts and don't get to really run the top much, but for some reason, I just love, ripping the fence at Kansas. It's just fun to me. So I'm excited, get to pull off some slide jobs, make some moves. Hopefully don't have to. Hopefully qualify up front, stay up front, and just, drive my race. Should be fun.
All right, man. Well, before we let you go, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, definitely all the guys at HPM for the help on driving and all that. I want to thank Vitello and Evan Rice for referring me to Jaron and letting me get into the league and have some fun. Also, my personal driver coach for the night, Alex. I want to thank him. Also, Sam Talarico with Talarico Sons and Designs.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on what was, in the end, a fairly emphatic victory. And we look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Kansas.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, guys. So that was today's pole sitter and winner, the 10 of Colton Salick. 9 on the track, of course, 10 in the standings. And guys, with that interview being over, we are going to be wrapping up this broadcast. Thank you all for coming out. It's been an absolutely great broadcast. If you're watching this back on YouTube, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you're watching this back on Twitch, don't forget to go follow the YouTube. All right, guys, until next week at Kansas, I hope you all have a safe and awesome week. And yeah, that's pretty much all I got. So, ciao for now.